Hello, welcome to Meeplecare. My name is Nicolas and today I would like to show you how to set up and play Eternitium. Eternitium is a deck building game for 1 to 5 players, ages 10 and up, that plays in about 30 minutes. The game is designed by Thomas Carlier and it's published by Omea Games. At the end of the video I will also show you how to set up and play the solo game of Eternitium. Now, before we travel through time and space in search of the Eternitium gem, I would kindly ask you to hit the like and subscribe button. Welcome, fellow time travelers. Today we are all on a quest to be the first to discover this precious gem that's called Eternitium, a gem that promises eternal life. This gem is protected by an ancient magic and nobody knows where it is or even in which era it can be located. In Eternitium, you want to be the first to discover this special gem. Eternitium is a deck building game, and this means that all players start with the same hand of action cards, but during the game you will add and remove cards from this deck to make your deck unique and of course better than your opponent's deck. The gem can only be found after traveling through different eras. To be the first at achieving this goal, you will be adding new portal cards and basic and advanced technology cards to your deck. These new technology cards will help you to move faster than your opponents or even help you to slow them down. However, acquiring these new technologies will come at a cost. Each time that you will add a technology card to your deck, you will also have to spend some time learning this technology, and this will slow you down. So let's start by setting up the game so we can find out who will be the first to find the Eternitium gem. First, give each player a player board so that they can place it in front of them. On this board you see 3 spaces. This is the deck area. Here you will place your draw deck. In the middle you have the Eternitium space. It shows you the Eternitium gem. And on this spot you will place your era cards. And you will have to work your way through all era cards to discover the Eternitium gem. This part of the board is where you will place your discard pile. There are 5 decks of starting cards in the game. Each of them has a number from 1 to 5. And each deck consists of the same cards. We have 1 portal card of each of the 4 types and 1 basic droid technology card. Before we start the game, we will deal out 1 of these starting decks to each player. But for now, place a number of these starting decks equal to the number of players off to the side. Now you will create a display of cards in the center of the table. In this display, you need room for 4 rows of cards. Let's start with the first row. In this top row, you will place the portal cards. There are 4 types of portal cards and each portal has a different shape. You have a diamond portal, a square, a circle and a triangle shaped portal. For each type of portal, take as many portal cards as the number of players multiplied by 2 and place these stacks face up in this first row. So for a 3-player game, there will be 6 cards in each of the portal stacks. Adding portal cards to your deck will help you to move through the different eras. Adding technology cards to your deck will help you to improve your turns, providing you with special abilities to move quicker through the eras, acquire better cards, and of course, slow down your opponents. Let's take a look at these technology cards. All technology cards have the same back. On the front, however, you can clearly see the difference between a basic and an advanced technology card. Make a separate pile for the basic technology cards and for the advanced deck. Shuffle each stack and then place the basic technology cards below the row of portal cards and the advanced technology deck beneath the basic technology deck to create a draw deck for each of these types of technologies. You then deal out 3 cards of each technology in a row next to its draw pile. When dealing out cards during setup or at any time during the game, there is one important rule that you must follow. The 3 basic and advanced cards you place into the display must be different. If there are at least 2 identical cards in a row, you leave one of those cards in the display and you return the others to the bottom of the draw deck. You then reveal new cards to replace them. These are the era cards. Just like with the portal cards, each era card shows you one of the 4 symbols: the circle, the square, the triangle, or the diamond. Shuffle the deck with these era cards. If you are playing a solo, a 2 or 3 player game, you now give each player 10 of these face down era cards that they can place on their player board. If you would be playing a 4 player game, you would give each player 9 era cards, and in a 5 player game you would give 8 era cards to each player. You place these era cards face down on the gem space in the middle of your player board without looking at them, and you then reveal the top card of this deck. To finish setup, you shuffle the remaining era cards to create a face down draw deck, and you place it below the advanced technology row. This deck is called the common deck. You then reveal the first 2 cards of this deck, and you place them face up in this row. After this general setup, there are just a few more things that you have to take care of before you can start playing. Of course, we need a first player. This will be the player who last traveled back in time or has seen someone do so. If no one is designated, you randomly determine the first player. The first player takes the starting deck that's marked with the number 1. Give the player to the left of the starting player the deck that is marked with the number 2, and continue to do so until each player has a numbered deck of starting cards. After each player has received a numbered starting deck, each player will now take their first technology card. Starting with the first player and then going in clockwise turn order, each player chooses a basic technology card. Each time a card is taken, you replace it with a new card from the draw deck. And don't forget that if there are 2 identical cards visible, you will return one of those to the bottom of the draw deck and replace it with a new card. Instead of choosing a face-up card, you can also choose to take the top card of the draw deck. After all players have chosen their basic technology card, you now shuffle your starting deck and you will draw a hand of 5 cards. Each player now has 1 action card left in his draw deck. The game is played over a number of turns. Each player takes their turn one after the other in clockwise order. Once a player has traveled through all his era cards and found the Eternitium gem, the game comes to an end. You finish the current round so that all players have taken the same number of turns. The winner is the player who finds the Eternitium gem. If more than 1 player has found it, you will have to score their cards. But more on that after we know how you play your turn. A player's turn consists of 5 steps. During step 1, you must take one of the portal cards. During step 2, you will play cards from your hand. Step 3 is the step where you will discard your cards. In step 4, you acquire a new technology card. And you finish your turn by refilling your hand during step 5. Let's take a look at each of these steps in more detail. The first step is called taking a portal card. This step is as simple as it sounds. At the start of your turn, you must choose a portal card and you add it to your hand. If there are no more portal cards available, you immediately move on to step 2. This is the most important step of your turn. You will now play cards from your hand to take different actions. These action cards can be portal cards or basic and advanced technology cards. You play these cards one at a time, each time applying their effect before playing a new card. You place each card that you played face up in your discard pile. Let's take a look at the first type of action card that you can play. These are the portal cards. If you play a portal card from your hand that matches the type of portal on the first face-up era card, you may discard that era card into a common discard pile. This action will help you to win the game because each discarded error card brings you closer to discovering the gem. If the error card on top of your deck is face down, you of course don't know what kind of portal is on the other side of that card. During the game, you will be able to play technology cards that will allow you to discover what's underneath and to turn cards face up. So then you will know which portal cards you need to discard them. There is, however, something else that you can do if you don't have access to these technology cards or if you don't want to use them. If the error card on top of your error deck is face down, you can perform an action that is called Try Your Luck. You can play any portal card from your hand and then turn the top error card face up. If your portal card matches the portal on the error card, you can again discard this error card just like we did before and continue your turn. If not, and you played a portal card that didn't match the portal on the error card, you would now turn the top error card face down and shuffle the deck. There's always one penalty that you take when you failed at this check. During step 5, when you refill your hand, you can only draw 4 cards instead of 5. Furthermore, if you took this gamble with your last error card and you failed check, you have to take the top error card from the common deck without looking at it and shuffle it face down with your last error card to create a new error deck that now contains 2 instead of 1 error card. After a failed luck check, you immediately move on to step 3. Now, at the start of step 2, you can always choose to skip this step. When you do this, you can destroy as many cards from your hand as you wish. You place these cards back into the box. When you destroy cards, you have to be careful because you can never have less than 6 cards at any time during the game in your hand, in your discard pile and in your deck. If you choose to skip step 2, during step 5, when you will refill your hand, you may draw 6 cards instead of 5. The second type of action card that you can play is a technology card. Let's take a look at these cards in more detail so I can show you what actions you can take when playing one of these cards. Let's start with the basic technology cards. This first card is called a double portal. When you play this card, you may discard a face-up error card that has one of the 2 portals shown on the card. So here I'm allowed to discard this triangle error card because one of the 2 portals is a triangle. With this droid card, you can turn your next hidden error card to its face-up side. This can be the first card that's on top of your deck or one underneath an already visible face-up error card. If, however, the top 3 error cards are already visible, nothing happens. This temporal blaster allows you to swap the top card of your deck with the top card of an opponent's deck. This symbol is the symbol for the active player, so that means you, and this symbol is the symbol for your opponent. The smartphone allows you to immediately draw 2 cards from your draw deck. You can use only 3 of these cards each turn. The wallet gives you a discount when you acquire new technology cards during step 4. With the transporter, you can discard 2 cards from your hand to discard your next error card. And last but not least, with this data analyzer, you can discard or destroy as many cards from your hand as you wish, and you then draw as many action cards from your deck as you have discarded or destroyed. Let's move on to the advanced technology cards. While the basic technology cards had a double portal, this ultimate portal shows you all 4 portals. When you play this card, you can discard your next error card, visible or not. With the Giga Droid, there's an action for you and for all other players. You can make the top 3 cards of your error deck visible, so you can turn them face up, and all other players can make their next hidden error card visible. If you or the other players already have the top 3 cards of their deck visible, nothing happens. The thieving robot does exactly what its name says. You can immediately steal any 1 card from an opponent's discard pile. And then you have to replace it with this thieving robot card. The recycle robot lets you choose a card from your discard pile and return it to your hand, so you can use that card again the same turn. When playing the time bomb, all other opponents must turn their top 3 error cards face down and shuffle their deck. If their top 3 cards were already hidden, nothing happens. The quantum clock has an action that makes all opponents draw the top card of the common error deck and place it face down on top of their error deck without looking at it. And the last advanced technology card is the laboratory card. When you play this card, you may immediately add a basic or an advanced technology card to your hand. All other players, starting with the player to your left and continuing clockwise, add a basic technology card to their hand. For you and all other players, this card is free of charge. When you have finished playing cards, or if you skipped step 2 completely, you will now move on to step 3. To discard all the remaining cards from your hand face up into the discard pile. At any time during the game, you can take a look at the cards in your discard pile. With no more cards in hand, this might be a good time to acquire some new technology cards during step 4 of your turn. This step is optional, but if you want to add some new action cards to your deck, this is the time to do that. You may acquire one basic or one advanced technology card. You can choose to take one of the visible cards, or you can take the first card from the draw deck. When you gain a technology card, you will add it face down to the top of your draw deck. This means that you will draw it at the start of your next turn. Discovering these new technologies does take time. When you acquire a basic technology card, you have to place one of the 2 visible error cards on top of your error deck. When choosing an advanced technology card, you have to place both visible error cards on top of the deck. At that moment, however, you can choose the order in which you will place them on top of your error deck. This makes the time it will take you to find the gem longer, but it does provide you with better action cards for later turns. At the end of your turn, during step 5, you now draw 5 cards from the top of your deck so that you are ready to start your next turn. If you failed at trying your luck, you would now only draw 4 cards. Or if you skipped step 2, playing a card, you would now draw 6 cards. If you ever need to draw a card and your deck is empty, you immediately shuffle your discard pile and you place it face down in your deck area. You then continue drawing cards. If the common error deck would ever be empty, you just shuffle the common error discard pile and place it face down as a new common error deck. Before I take you to the end of the game, let me first show you how a complete turn would be played. These are the 5 cards that I drew during step 5 of my last turn. It's now step 1 of my new turn, so I will now take one of the 4 portal cards that are here on the top row. Since I've seen that this first error card has this square portal, and I don't have any square portals in my hand, it might be a good idea to, during step 1, take one of these square portal cards. So now, during step 2, I will start by playing cards from my hand. Let's start by playing this square portal, so I place it in my discard pile, and this allows me to remove this top error card from the deck, because the 2 portals match. So I now remove it, and this leaves me with a face down error card on top of my error deck. To deal with this, I have my droid card. When I play this droid card, I can now make the first card of our error deck visible. It now shows me an error card with a circle portal. Again, something that I don't have in my hand of cards. But maybe we can get some more cards. And I can do that by playing this basic technology card that allows me to now, when I play it, take and draw 2 cards from my draw deck. So I place it in my discard pile and I take the 2 cards from my draw deck. Lucky for us, I now have a circle portal. So I can play this circle portal, The portals match, so again I can remove the top card from the error deck. The same problem for my next error card. Again, of course, it's face down, so I have no clue at what portal I will need to discard the top card from this deck. But this might be a great moment to show you how this transporter card works. When I play this transporter card, I'm allowed to discard 2 cards from my hand, and then I can remove the top card from my error deck. The last card I want to play is this wallet card. It will give me a reduction when I buy new technology cards during step 4. But first step 3. Step 3 is the discard step, but I have no more cards left, so I don't need to discard anything. So it's step 4. Now is the time when I will be adding new technology cards to my deck. Remember, I played this wallet card, so now I have a reduction of 1 error card when I choose one of these technologies. So this means I can take a basic technology card for free, or I can take an advanced technology card at the cost of adding 1 error card to the deck. So when I want to take this advanced technology card, normally I would add 2 error cards to my error deck, but because of the wallet I only add 1. I place one of these, I can choose which one, on top of my deck. So now I would place this card on top of the draw deck, making sure that I will be able to get rid of this error card at the start of my next turn. It's step 5, so now I draw 5 new action cards and I'm ready for my next turn. But first, the other player in clockwise direction takes his turn. So play continues until one player has traveled to all his error cards and has discovered the gem. You would now finish the current round so that all players have taken the same number of turns. Whenever a player finds the gem, he or she can no longer acquire new technology cards and no error cards can be added to his player board. If more than one player has found the gem during this last round, they would now count their points using this method. Those players would now take all their cards and make 2 stacks, one with all the basic technology cards and another one with all the advanced technology cards. Each basic card scores you 1 point and an advanced card scores you 2 points. Here I would have scored 8 points. 2 points for my basic technology cards and 6 points for my advanced technology cards. The player with the most points wins the game, and if there's still a tie, the player with the most advanced technology cards wins. And after that, if there's still a tie, the players share the victory. Eternitium also has a solo mode. A solo game always ends after 8 turns or when you find the Eternitium gem. To prepare for this solo game, you first take all technology cards and you look for 3 temporal blasters, 2 time bombs, 2 thieving robots and 2 quantum clocks. You would now shuffle these 9 cards and place them face down on the table. This will now be an AI deck. You play your turn as normal, but you will now add a 6th step to your turn. During this 6th step, you turn over the top card of the AI deck and you resolve that card as if it were played by an opponent. After resolving the card, you return it to the game box. You do this because if the AI deck is ever empty, you won't reuse any of its previous cards. If you have to draw an AI card and the deck is empty, nothing happens. There are 8 portal cards used when setting up the solo game, the number of players multiplied by 2. So when, at the start of your turn, you take the last portal card, you know that this will be your last turn of the solo game, so you have 1 more turn to find the gem. Some AI cards might need a bit more explanation on how you execute them on behalf of the AI player. Whenever you reveal the temporal blaster, instead of the AI swapping his card with yours, you would now discard your next error card and you would replace it with the first card from the common deck without revealing it. When the AI plays the thieving robot, you would destroy the technology card that is closest to the bottom of your discard pile. If there are no technology cards in there, nothing happens. When you play a card that allows other players a compensation, The AI doesn't take that compensation, but instead of that you have to reveal a new AI card and immediately apply its effect. At the end of your turn, in which this would happen, you still perform step 6, revealing and executing another AI card. Good luck at hunting down that gem. This is all you need to know to set up and play Eternitium. If you liked this video, please click the like and subscribe button. And you can always follow Meeplecare on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. This was Meeplecare, taking care of your meeple needs.